Well, cool, man. This has been. We've talked about this for a while.
We have.
Yes,
This goes back to
great,
probably for the last year trying to figure out a time to connect and get together.
Great. So, Jim, Aaron.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, it's the first time officially meeting you.
Isn't that crazy?
In person, even though we feel like we've known each other because we've been so connected on social media.
Yeah, bingo.
For so long, and you do get a sense of, really if they're
both
active,
local business owners, and so we know.
Yeah.
We feel like we know each other.
Yeah. So you're probably like wondering, like, hey, what's a fitness guy doing interviewing a owner of a McDonald's? And I just honestly, for a couple of reasons, I love food. I love McDonald's food.
And we appreciate that.
Yes, and the Egg McMuffin, is fabulous. And I'll actually drop a little cheat on that Egg McMuffin. I double up on the egg round, double up on the Canadian bacon, double up on the cheese, and you can actually get about 30 to 33 grams of protein in that Egg McMuffin sandwich. And you've had it a few times. I have.
I call it now, famously, the Keith Ozment menu hack, double Egg McMuffin menu hack. And after I saw you talking about it and posting the beautiful picture, I think in your SUV, my pictures aren't as good as yours, Keith.
But I'm a foodie, man. I've been taking.
But I do it. You and I both are foodies. We both take some decent shots, but yours was amazing. Yeah. So that's the Keith Osmond menu hack.
Yeah, I'll drop that in the video description on that, and we're washing it down. Just got through eating that breakfast, you guys. It was awesome. Washing it down with this is a sugar-free vanilla.
It is.
Or sugar-free vanilla latte.
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
We have iced lattes as well, or hot, but yeah. And I ordered the same thing, except for I did loaded.
Yes. Okay, you get it.
Yeah, I dressed it up a little bit. Yeah. The drizzle's kind of gone now, but I had a shot of espresso and some chocolate and caramel drizzle as well.
It's delicious. I love a good coffee, and I drink coffee most mornings, but I love iced coffee too. Man.
Oh yeah, me too.
That's great.
That's my caffeine of choice to wake me up in the morning, get me going.
But yeah, like I was saying, so many reasons I want to be here with you, and I'm excited, and thank you for taking the time.
Well, thanks for making some.
But delicious food, and then since I've been following you on social media, the one thing I've noticed is just how much pride you take in what you do, and the people you surround yourself with, and you seem like you really love what you do, and you're not ashamed to showcase it on social media. It's like I was like, wow, this guy really does. Believe in what he does, and you seem to have a good culture at all your locations.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, I think you have 8. Is it still 8?
We actually are at 9 now.
Yeah, I did. I want to use this opportunity to get to know you a little bit better, and
I love it.
I did a little research.
Okay.
And, I noticed that you
only believe the good stuff.
Yes, of course, because we're going to get into the social media stuff. But I know you're from Rome.
Yes, I am. Born and raised. I grew up out, you were talking about out in the country. I grew up in Coosa, and graduated from Coosa High School more than a minute before you in 1979, and I'm proud to also be a Berry College graduate here locally in 1984. So and the journey began for McDonald's. My start, I should say, at McDonald's in 1977 as a crew kid here in Rome.
16 years old.
Yeah, I was 16 years old, and actually started at the only McDonald's here in town that I don't own, and that's fine. But I started at West Rome McDonald's, and that's a different owner out of Alabama area. Great people.
Maybe one day.
Great people, and so, but that's where I started, and I worked my way through college, and just continued on. And you talked about culture, and I want to talk about that, and leadership, and a bunch of things that I know you and I both are very passionate about. But it's just been a great journey for me. I as I said, I worked my way through college. I was the night shift manager 5 nights a week. Worked full time at McDonald's, and took a full load at Berry College, and very proud of that. I think work ethic, and we were talking about that a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Before we started the interview, and work ethic is so important, and I talk about that a lot with our almost 600 leaders and staff. But I learned at an early age that if you want something in life, you got to work for it.
Yeah, of course.
And so, but after I graduated Barry, I interviewed around my senior year, like
with accounting, right?
Business and accounting. So
accounting,
good,
yeah.
Good research there.
Yeah.
So business and accounting, and senior year I was interviewing around like everybody does, I suppose, when you're getting ready to graduate,
right.
and I interviewed with McDonald's too because and honestly, I think my senior year in college was when it kind of occurred to me that, hey, wait a minute, I'm working for one of the biggest and best brands in the world. And and really prior to that revelation, my senior year in college, it was great. I loved it. I loved the people. I loved the customers. I just the community. But I think prior to that, I'd been thinking, well, I'm going to move on and do something else in life, right? And so
sometimes
I decided, and I decided, the best opportunity was to stick with what I knew already at that point.
Right.
And it was just great. I worked up through the corporate side of McDonald's, a total of 37 years.
So you were in management in your early 20s.
Oh, yeah. So right out of college, I was 22, I guess, 21, 22.
Wow.
And was already a shift manager, the night shift manager in my 18 through 21, 22 through Berry College, but then went like seriously as a career in my early 20s. General manager, area supervisor for an area for the company, and then various titles. One was field operations manager and many others, but overseeing consultants that consulted with the franchisees on the corporate side was one of the roles, and many others. But I had moved up the corporate ladder for a total of 30-something years past the college experience, so 37 total. But and towards kind of that year 34, 35, I said, I had that itch, right? I want to own my own business. I want to make a difference at a different level.
I was going to ask you that. Like, at what point on that journey did it become very clear that you wanted to own your own McDonald's?
About year 34, 35.
Really? Okay. So prior to that, you were
I was climbing the corporate corporate ladder.
You hadn't thought really once about owning a location.
No, not to any significant extent. I think to say you hadn't ever thought about it probably would be, but to not to a point of like literally making a plan.
Right.
It was climb the corporate ladder, and I loved working for McDonald's Corporation. It's one of the best brands in the world. No, you could apply and own some other business or have some other career that's unrelated to QSR and apply to be a McDonald's franchisee. You should go on the website and apply.
But I think that's what's
but
made you stand apart.
It's tough to get into it.
It's what's made you so good in your position, because you literally played every role.
It absolutely made a difference.
Every role, man.
It made a difference. When I decided to become a franchisee, I will tell you, I had that confidence of I knew everything about the brand at that point, right? I mean, are you ever 1,000% prepared? Probably not, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we all know that failure is how you get better in life, and so certainly over the last 11 years now of being a franchisee, I've had my share of failures, and continue to learn every day. Ray Kroc said, if you're green, you're growing. Right. And if you ever get ripe, you start to rot. So I'm
assuming you watched the documentary. The Founder.
I mean, it's loosely, but it was good. It was good. It was loosely based on the truth. Hollywood might be known to take some liberties with some things.
I did love that. And thank you for taking me on the tour of the kitchen. It did remind me of that scene where in the documentary where he's got him on a tennis court.
Oh, exactly.
And he's got the chalk outline of the assembly area, and he's like modifying, he's timing it.
Yeah.
And dude, they were the pioneers. McDonald's was the first people to really, really dial that in my opinion.
Oh, no doubt in my mind. I mean, the way that Dick and Mac McDonald, who originally, of course, out west in California, but then Ray Kroc took it and refined it and turned it into what it is today, which is why he's called the founder, right? He turned the brand into what it is today.
I know. I kind of feel bad for the original guys. They don't get enough credit, but Ray, I think, took it to a whole nother level.
It would have never been what it is today.
And he had to fight for it too, because from what I saw, they really did. They wasn't dreaming big enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was wanting to take it bigger.
But to your point, when we walked through there, I was excited that you got to see what you and I were talking a little bit ago about a well-oiled machine.
Well-oiled machine.
And this restaurant has over 100 leaders and staff that work at this one restaurant. And probably have 20 to 23 or so on the floor right now taking care of breakfast on a busy Thursday morning.
Over 100 it takes 100 employees to keep this place going.
This one, yeah, and each restaurant, it depends on the volume. This is a strong volume, right here in the heart of Rome, and we've done a good job building it up. But average, my organization, about 65 to 70.
Jeez, because I thought I had a full plate. We have almost 20 employees over at the smoothie shop.
Yeah.
And we're open.
That's a lot.
We're open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And we're open from 6:30 a.m. till 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
So it's for it to be just a smoothie shop. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. You've built that thing up big.
Yes. So like I told you earlier, just coming here, I hope that I leave with some inspiration and little nuggets of knowledge on how I can keep leveling up our culture and our efficiency from a back end standpoint, and then a customer service standpoint. That's one thing I think you've got dialed in, man. Because every location I go to, the employees seem to be happy, and that means a lot when your people are happy.
It's all about that. You know that. I see you take care of your folks too, but I'm all about my people.
Yeah, you seem to be a very active owner. I see you visit. You seem to visit all your locations as much as you can.
I do. Every week I see every location, and I do a lot. We were talking about undercover boss shops, right?
Yes.
Change my name in the app and get out and do. Even though my people are amazing, I don't even have to do that. I know. But I think it's good, and they kind of get a kick out of like, who am I going to be today? Am I Joe? Am I Bob? Who am I going to be?
Keeps them on their toes a little bit. Like you said, I don't think I have to monitor my people 100.
But it's fun. I get out there, and it's important to be hands-on and active. And I think the people then know that, you know what, he cares.
He does,
And you care, and so it's important.
Yeah, I'm very active at the smoothie shop. I'm there most weeks, 7 days a week at some point.
Yeah.
It may not be all day, but I slide in. Usually 7 days a week. The only time I'm not there is when I'm out of town.
Yeah.
And I enjoy being there. I enjoy listening to the employees, and if there's any kinks in the system, and they know they can come to me and other managers.
Yeah. When you have that relationship, they'll tell you, right? And that's so. We talked a little bit about culture, and culture. We call it in our organization. We have a phrase of culture of excellence, and so that's just a phrase, and words are words until you bring it to life, and that's what we're both talking about here.
Yeah.
And so, for me, as a leader, you got to live and breathe your vision. We have a vision for our organization, but you live and breathe it every day. You got to show up for your people. And you show up in so many ways. I mean, I was telling you some of the equipment challenges this morning, and at 5 and 6 a.m., my director of operations, Jess, and myself, we were like showing up for our people because there were 2 different restaurants that had all of a sudden just equipment issues, and so it's you immediately are like on the phone, you're immediately engaging, getting our heads of facilities on the way to the restaurants to handle. So it's you show up for so many ways, and then the other, and you were just talking about this with your people, is you know who they are as individuals, and you take care of them, and that's one of the passions that I have. Is I want to give opportunities for my leaders and staff like people gave to me and like you got when you were young. And so it's doing the next right thing, always doing the next right thing for them. And sometimes you were talking about listening. Sometimes it's just listening.
It's just listening,
So,
it's refreshing to hear that even on a corporate level, like franchise like McDonald's, there's still fires to be put out.
Oh my gosh!
You talked about some equipment issues this morning.
2 major ones this morning.
2 major ones. So it's
it was crazy.
That's
5 a.m. We're rolling. No time for caffeine. It'll wake you up in a hurry.
So that's
because we still got. There's people that are going to pull up to the drive-through, and they got a couple of minutes, in their busy day, and they want to grab a breakfast and caffeine of choice, and
you gotta
get on the road. And the fact that we had an equipment issue at 5 a.m. at a couple of locations, it doesn't matter, that we still got to take care of them. And so we create some urgency very fast, but I've got a great structure, and we're able to.
Yeah, one of our biggest things,
do it.
like you get that dreaded call that says the ice machine down.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to kind of have that for smoothies.
Yeah, with the smoothie business.
We're good now, but like in the past, before we have the particular machine we have now, I had to go and hand fetch some ice. Whether it be from our neighboring businesses or at the ice machine's place, and just to keep the operations going, and it's like, wow, you forget all these little fires you had to put out along the way, and that's neat to hear that even at a franchise level like this, y'all don't have just a clear-cut, get-out-of-jail-free card, you still got some
Oh,
issues you gotta
there,
put out.
yeah. There's
You know,
always
here and
something,
there.
but you know, I love, and I can tell you do too, both from social media and what you're talking about, and what you and I've chatted about this morning. It's such a dynamic business, and that's part of what I love. I love the fact that, you know, we're so fast-paced, so are you, and you do, you know, a couple of different things, but there's always something going on, and that
Yeah.
keeps me energized.
Yes. Yeah.
Coupled with just talking to our people, talking to customers,
I love it.
being involved in the community.
And yeah, like you said, just sometimes getting out on just the floor and just talking to customers, man. That's what I love. You know, I find myself, I have to kind of self-audit myself sometimes. I'll get too caught up on the back end stuff, where I'm like, you know what, it's been a minute since I've actually got on the retail floor and spent some time talking to our daily customers. So I'll do that for a few days, little touches.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'll get sometimes too focused on the back end stuff. I'm like, okay, I
Right.
still got some people out here I need to touch and build that relationship with.
Yeah, that
So I try
balance.
to keep
I mean,
a balance of it all.
and it's both, you know, both are important, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And then having, you know, it's both of what you just talked about, but it's also, you know, staying in touch with what's your vision,
Yeah.
where are you going, right?
Yeah.
Where's this train going?
Yeah.
But also having that down in the weeds, that you know, that what's happening with
Yeah.
each individual
Right.
guest,
Yeah.
each individual employee.
Yeah.
And so knowing the right balance of how much time you're spending
Yeah.
at the higher level,
True.
the 30,000 foot level,
Yeah.
as opposed to, you know, kind of beating the streets.
True. And you actually received an award that only 1%
You did do some.
owners
Yeah.
did, the
Yeah.
Ronald Award.
Yeah, and there's actually a couple different ones that
Okay.
I'm really, thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that up,
Yeah.
Keith. So nice of you. Very proud of, I'll start, I'll be brief, but on the company side, so the first 37 years of my McDonald's, it's been 48 years now total. I know I only look like I'm 29.
That's a lot.
Just
that's
kidding,
a long
but
history.
48 years with, and this is my only gig, right? From 16 years old to now. But when I was on the corporate side and climbing that corporate ladder, I was honored to receive the President's Award, and it's the highest, it's the top 1% on the corporate side. And so there's that, and you know, go to Chicago where our corporate headquarters are. There's a whole reception thing, a whole weekend event. It was awesome.
That's amazing.
And then now I've been a franchisee for 11 years, and there's two of the top franchisee awards that McDonald's as a brand, and there's approximately 40,000 McDonald's globally. But there's two franchisee, the big awards, and one is the Fred L. Turner.
Okay. Haven't heard of that one
Yeah,
yet.
Fred L. Turner Award. And that's the global one.
Okay.
And so Fred Turner was the original kind of grill man for Ray Kroc back in the
Yeah.
50s, and then ended up being the CEO of the company for Kroc as it exploded to a global brand. But
Fred Turner.
But yeah,
Okay.
yep, Fred Turner. Yep. And so that's the top 1%
Okay.
globally
Yeah.
of franchisees, and
Okay.
I've won that.
Wow.
And then I also have won the U.S. top award, which is the Ronald Award. And I'm actually today wearing the.
Yeah, that's amazing.
People, when I wear this, especially around Halloween, they're asking, "Is that a skeleton or what?" But
Jeez, yeah.
that's actually Ronald McDonald, and so
That's amazing.
that's the top 1% of the U.S. franchisees. And so I'm blessed
I love
that
that.
I've kind of, you know, the triple crown, if you will.
Yeah. So I gotta just go ahead and get this.
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
open. So this is it true that the ice machine is always broken?
At your place and mine. At your place and mine.
The ice cream machine.
I thought. Oh, okay. I thought
cream
I
machine.
misheard. I thought you said the ice
cream.
machine.
Is it true? The ice machine?
I love that. That is. I know. I love that you probably. So the social media rumor, of course, which I always laugh. You know, always LOL. I understand the social media
Yeah,
humor,
yeah,
but
they drop
ours
the line.
always work. I will tell you. You know. We were talking earlier before we went live here with the structure. I'm a big believer in structure, and organization of our size, of almost 600 employees, we have got a great structure. So I have one person who's in charge for all 9 locations of our soft serve and our shake machine. He also is our technology lead. We call it the OTP Pro, but that's his only job. Company car will travel, so he takes care of those personally at all 9 locations. Ours always work. So no, it's not true. It's a fallacy.
So I did a little research on that, and tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because this is according to Google or maybe ChatGPT, but it said that the whole reason that rumor started, or the issue, was because at one point you guys wasn't allowed to service or clean your own machines. It had to be through a third-party company. Is that
so with the service side of it, there's a couple of things that some of it's a little founded. Those machines, let me start with this. Those machines are extremely complex. Like you would think we're building and driving a Tesla here.
Right.
They're extremely complex, and there's a good reason for that. It's actually a self-pasteurizing every night.
Wow.
It goes through a self-pasteurization process. We call it internally a heat treat machine.
That is amazing.
And so, but it has all these different triggers that will shut down the machine if things aren't perfect. And so ask yourself, because inquiring minds want to know,
Right.
With ours, if it's a degree above temperature, which might make it not safe, you could argue that a degree above the refrigeration temperature probably isn't going to hurt anything, but with ours it shuts it down. It's just an extremely complex machine. And so that's, a lot of safety protocol built into the machine. So that's probably the biggest thing, and that's why I have a full-time guy that does technology. He's amazing at technology too, but he's amazing at those machines. So that's the underlying biggest thing. But then there's also that issue of the authorized service agent, the ASA, the authorized service agent, and so that's a Taylor manufacturer machine, and you have to use Taylor. Although the basic upkeep of the machine, my guy is certified to handle.
Cool.
So
it sounds like it kind of comes down to just the owner of that location on how much
it does. How what's your level of passion and intensity about stuff?
Keeping that machine up. Yeah,
mine about every single thing. I've got a high level of passion and intensity.
I know, for so many years, I didn't really catch on to it, but I think y'all recently changed it. But the McFlurry machine, the spoon that it came with for many years, it had like a boxy looking handle.
It was iconic.
And dude, I didn't find out until about a year ago that it was the actual kind of shaft that spun the McFlurry. And it just kinda,
the McFlurry blend. It's a blender, basically. And so the spoon that you ate that with was iconic, in that it had you literally stuck it on the spindle, and that's it mixed the machine, and then you just released it, and that was your spoon.
Yeah, that was like that for years.
Yeah.
And it's not like that anymore.
No, I mean we still spindle them, and we still mix them, but it's
a regular spoon now.
Yeah, there's a whole behind that. It has to do with sustainability. There was a lot of plastic in that spoon, and one of the things that's a big thing in the last few years for every major brand is kind of reducing your footprint for the environment.
Yes.
Which is, by the way, one of the reasons why. Do you remember all the talk about the straw?
Oh.
We're back to the iconic straw now, but we went to a sustainable straw and got a lot of social media backlash on that.
Was it paper straw?
It was a wood byproduct. It was a wood byproduct, and so it didn't hold up. Yeah, it didn't hold up. Straws are important.
It is.
But we're back to our. But the point is that sometimes, in life, I mean, sometimes you fail and you learn and you change, and that's it. But the spindle, it works fine. We just give us a smaller spoon.
The public will let you know quickly if
you mess up. We get feedback.
We had a couple of bad experiences where we were getting a handful of fake $100 bills, fake currency through our shop. And talking to the banks, they told me that, hey, they're getting really smart now. Even the counterfeit pen will show that it's real.
Yep.
And so we got like our third one within a year and a half, and I said, okay, we're just not going to accept $100 bills anymore. Too bad. Gosh, that was a mistake. I should have probably surveyed the customers. So
you got a little feedback on that, did you?
It ruffled a lot of feathers.
Yeah, a little feedback.
And then finally I'm like, okay, never mind.
Counterfeit pen. That's what we do.
So we do the pen, and we do the light test, and we have a couple other measures we use now. So yes, I completely.
You have surveillance? Do you have surveillance cameras?
Yes.
So I will tell you, we have surveillance, throughout the inside and the outside.
Yeah.
So we've actually. We have a camera that's focused on the tag, because with our business, 80% is drive-through. The people just hit the cash. So when we mark it as counterfeit, person drives off, but we've got them. We got the car, we got we got the tag, and so we've actually.
That's good.
The police are awesome. They work with us.
I know it's part of every business, but don't you just irk you when you're the victim of fake money and stuff like that? So. Anyways, but the public will let you know quickly.
Absolutely.
You might think it's a good idea, but as you can tell through the years of your involvement with McDonald's, they've tried many things and it kind of backfired. Whether it was from a new menu item or a change in a product, and everybody deals with it. Coca-Cola deals with it. They made some changes through the years. That backfired.
One classic one a long time ago.
There you go.
But we test that. We try to test. I mean, those are small things, but from a product and a beverages standpoint, we have a very exhaustive testing process.
That's good.
You can still mess up, but we have a really good success ratio because of a very, very thorough testing process. And certain consumer, we call them scan reads, but consumer reads and certain hurdles that the new product or the new beverage has to. And I'm, as I've told you, and we've talked some, I'm blessed to get a chance to nationally work with some just really sharp McDonald's corporate staff and McDonald's leadership owners across the U.S., both from a menu innovation standpoint.
That's got to be so exciting to be part of that.
And from an advertising, we call it internally OpNet, but from an advertising standpoint.
That's great.
And so it's a lot of fun. It's I'm passionate about the business and the brand, and so I get a chance to impact it on a higher level, which is awesome.
That's got to be so cool to be involved with that side of it.
Yeah, it's really, really neat.
Marketing and the menu, being part of the innovative next steps as far as what's going to be on y'all's menu. That's got to be so cool to have some input on.
Yeah, we have several chefs, both corporately, globally, as well as here in the States, and they're really awesome, and their whole culinary team that's up underneath them. So people would be surprised, that McDonald's is a huge brand. So we have an awesome chef and culinary team.
And y'all don't change your menu up too often. I mean,
no, the core menu,
the core. I mean,
stands the test of time.
Every
Big Mac,
year or two, you might come out with something
filet.
different or take something off. But it seems like it's pretty stable.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of additions every day. The core menu stays the same, but we do occasionally do what we'll call renovate. We'll take a core item and maybe make it a little bit better or enhance it. That's rare. Basically, everything is exactly as it was when Dick and Mac McDonald and Ray Kroc. But then we do occasionally add menu items. Obviously, we just added crispy strips.
Oh, wow.
We're about to bring back snack wraps. It's not the best kept secret in the world, which is great. We went in and told the public, hey, they're coming. July 10th is actually the launch day. And then, of course, famously in the mid 80s, we added McNuggets. We added McGriddles on the breakfast lineup back probably 15 years ago.
The McGriddles.
That's an iconic. That's an iconic
y'all
product.
Have a patent on that? Because
it's got there's nobody else has that.
It's basically a pancake bun.
It is.
With an M on it.
It's a mobile hotcakes and sausage.
And I've always thought that was so fascinating how you can only find that at McDonald's, where you literally are eating a portable.
And it's amazing. Pancake. We have a lot of customers that swear by that.
Yeah, I mean,
and of course we brought bagels back. We had them, and then we took them off the menu, and we got feedback like you were talking about it. At your place, so we got some feedback and bagels.
You took bagels off?
Yeah, we had taken bagels off, and so social media is powerful. Kind of like snack wraps. I mean, we bring in snack wraps back because social media wanted them back. Our customer base said, "Hey, bring snack wraps back," so they're coming back July 10th. But bagels was the same thing. There was a whole social media like riots on social media to bring back bagels, and so we did, and they're awesome.
So snack wraps. That was out at one point, then y'all took them away.
Yeah.
So it's basically just a flour tortilla type wrap. With chicken.
A tortilla wrap with crispy strip in it. Sauce. We actually the iconic snack wrap has ranch sauce. It's an awesome ranch, and then of course shredded lettuce, shredded cheese, and then the crispy strip.
How long has it been gone? It's only been
from my areas 5-6 years. From some parts of the U.S. 9 years
Gotcha. Okay.
roughly.
All right.
But in this area, we had them up till COVID, basically.
Yeah.
The social media talk that life
Yeah.
was great until COVID, and then we lost
Right.
I don't know what all the things are that are on. So we lost 24-hour Walmarts or whatever the thing
Right.
is because of COVID. But Snack Wrap got killed during for its final death at that point, COVID. Until the social media said bring it back.
Speaking of other menu items, I did make note of two other items. So why does the McRib not stay on the menu year round? Is it because it's just one of those you want people to miss it? Is that kind of their analogy behind it?
So kind of, but I will tell you, there's a little more to that. There is a fandom. There is a cult. You mentioned cult a minute ago. There's a cult following for McRib that is just crazy.
They're like, bring it back, keep it permanent.
And so it's good to have that built up anticipation, and when we bring it back, it goes crazy. Yeah. But more than that, there was a time back, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, where McRib, for a short, I think it was 1 year, stayed on the menu.
Okay.
And what happens when it's on for too long, it literally dwindles to the point where it's kind of operationally a challenge.
Yeah.
In our business, at least, throughput is everything.
Yes.
And so, because customers want to be waited on, fast and good food and get on their way.
Yeah.
Of course,
we're
known as fast food. But if you have low unit movement on anything, it becomes somewhat problematic to be able to get people through in a couple of minutes on their way to work or school or whatever, the ball game. So McRib dwindles to the point where it becomes operationally a problem.
That's
if
where you have to tell people to pull off to the side for longer.
That could be one of the reasons, because if you don't have enough throughput, then you can't anticipate, et cetera. But it's an amazing product. The other thing, we talk about social media. There's so many just lies, falsehoods on social media, and one is that it's mystery meat. Oh no, it's actually not. It's just pork.
So elaborate on that. You talked earlier about a video that was floating around that showed on social media that shows how McNuggets were made.
Many. But McRib's pork, and it's got rosemary, just all the things that would be in good sausage. There's like 4 ingredients in McRib, period. But with regard to this, so we were talking about there are so many, and it's going to get worse with the AI, but there's so many lies and misinformation with regard to our food, especially because we're the #1 food service brand in the world. But our beef, 100% beef. I mean, I could walk back there, and as you know, I've shared on social media the box of beef that says 100% USDA inspected ground beef.
And
it's 100% beef. We literally cook it, season it, salt and pepper on the grill, and that's it.
Have I seen cartons of eggs?
Oh yeah. So actually whole eggs. So that Egg McMuffin, that double Keith Ozment special. Every Egg McMuffin is made with a whole grade A large egg.
That's amazing.
English muffin, lean Canadian bacon, etc. Our bacon is Applewood smoked bacon. Our McNuggets are just white meat chopped up. But it's white breast meat chopped up and a light tempura batter coating.
So these videos,
our crispy chicken, our crispy chicken protein that you saw me eating it on a biscuit this morning. We also serve that good size protein, that breast on the crispy chicken sandwiches. That's just a whole breast chicken.
They look good.
I mean, it's amazing. So our food is awesome, and there's just a lot of lies and misinformation.
I was going to ask you, how do you handle the stuff that gets shared to you, or people tagging you and stuff on social media, like on these videos and stuff like you see? And like you said, it's probably just a video from a factory that has nothing to do with McDonald's, and
that's what people do. There were a couple different ones that what we were talking about earlier that were literally some other place, or it's AI generated. Who knows in today's world? And they said this is McDonald's. I've been to our processing facilities, beef, the chicken, all of it, and it's literally not. So our facilities, our suppliers are second to none. You could eat off the floor. But anyway, how do I handle it? Great question. I think people who know me know I'm just very genuine. I'm going to just tell you whatever the situation is. And so there's a lot of people, I think, and you're this way too. You're very present for your customers. You're very present for your communities. I decided when I became a franchisee that I was just going to show up. I'm going to be, in the schools. I'm going to be in the communities.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on social media. I'm not going to duck and hide.
Right.
And so I do get tagged for, people that have questions, and I love that.
Right.
And I just tell them, I've done this 48 years. There's not anything about the brand I don't know. And so, I'll tell them exactly. And if I don't know, which occasionally could happen, Chef Chad's a friend of mine, the top chef for McDonald's. He's a friend of mine because I'm on the team, right? And so I'll just text him and go, "Hey, chef, tell me the ingredients on this product," and he'll reply almost right away.
To just be able to text the head chef.
And if there's something I don't know, but I just literally reply back and go, "Okay, here's what's in it." So that's not true.
Wow, that's amazing.
And there's nothing to be worried about with regard to our menu. Matter of fact, 99% of our core menu is preservative free.
That's amazing.
I always tell people on social media, I always kind of make light of it. I'm like, hey, full disclosure, pickle has a preservative. If that bothers you, throw it out and make a bird happy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And and people that follow me know that I'm never going to demonize any specific food. I want to show people that it's possible to have balance. And I love food. And you can create a life where you can be healthy. You said you've been eating McDonald's every day for how long?
48 years. And
48 years.
Like we were talking about earlier, I'm not 29 anymore, and I'm proud of the fact.
You're 65, right?
Yeah, 64. You're aging me by a year. But yeah, I mean, every day for 48 years, sometimes twice a day. And, it's all about, so you're great at this because you're a fitness guru. You're my hero. It's all about your lifestyle.
It is.
I mean, certainly balanced diet's part of that, and also just, do things, be active.
Yeah, it's a combination of everything that I feel like is, that you see America in the shape that it's in. It's not just one or two little things. It's not because of fast food. It's not because it's collectively, it's sedentary, people not moving enough. We have so many office jobs now.
Sure.
Too many calories
being
in general.
At home and playing on games which is nothing wrong with gaming. That's a big craze, right? Yeah. But it's get out and be active, whether it's tennis or golf or basketball or just riding a bike.
I mentioned this on my last podcast with Katie. We were talking about like the main drivers of like inflammation and I was going to tell her that I actually want to do this study one day. I don't know if anybody's ever done it. I want to take a male and a female that's really out of shape. I'm talking like needs to lose 100 pounds, right? And do blood work on them and show that they're like insulin resistant, they're borderline type 2, already type 2. They have so many, in other words, they're going down a bad path. What I can promise you, I'm putting this out there, if I can get two people to comply to this, I could put them on a fast food diet. It's just call it McDonald's and just help them make a little bit better choices.
Sure.
Keep the calories in check. Get my Ozment McMuffin.
There you go. Keith Ozment
for lunch. They could eat fast food every meal at McDonald's, and I could let them help them drop 40 or 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah, no doubt in my
mind. Eating fast food.
No doubt in my mind.
Go get blood work done again, and their blood markers are going to be crazy different, good, like positive, like they're going to be, because one of the biggest.
That would be a cool thing for you.
Big cool study. Yeah, I know there's been a couple of people on YouTube do similar.
They have
documentaries. Of course, there's been some do it in the negative, and then there's been some doing the positive, like the guy that ate Twinkies every day and lost a bunch of weight, and he proved the same thing. That it's about being active, and so I'm about that balance to show people it doesn't take avoiding certain food groups or being scared of fast food or junk food.
Balanced active lifestyle. It's your behaviors.
Yeah, so
and everything in life.
And that's how I am.
It's fitness or your personal life. Everything's about what you do is who you are.
Yeah, and I love being able to. I'm 40. I'll be 41 this year.
Young man, just a young man.
I'm hoping I still have great composure and health when I get your age.
You will. My guess is you're still going to look like this even at 64, like I am.
Yeah. So, but
so you're an inspiration to me.
I love showing people that even right now, because I heard it all my life. Wait till you get 40. Wait till you get 40. And yeah, maybe I don't recover quite as quick as I did when I was in my 20s, sure, but I still feel like I'm thriving.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of people in their 40s. And I don't eat perfect. I eat a lot of restaurant food. I love going and crushing a deadlift session on Sunday mornings and swinging through our Murchie location and getting my Egg McMuffin combination. Or me and my family, we just went to IHOP Father's Day Sunday morning and had a huge stack of pancakes and,
I love it.
and stuff like that. So I want to show people that it's possible to have balance and still include food you love. You know, and the rumors you hear on social media aren't always true. You know, I know the video.
You're a great inspiration for that. You really are, Keith. You're a great inspiration for that. I mean, it inspires me to look at and to know that you're a regular customer of ours, and yet you keep yourself so fit. I mean, I think we both. It's so important to inspire. It's one of the things that drives me. And there's, it's kind of related, but how we handle ourselves, the opportunities we provide for people, just our lives and our stories are inspiration for others. And I try to be always so cognizant of that, not only with our, roughly 600 leaders and staff, but also just with the people that you and I both interact with, whether it's, people in the community or customers or what have you. Yeah. It's so important.
Yeah. And
how we show up.
Exactly. And one more menu item that I remember from back in the day, and I'm kind of sad that it got taken off the menu, was the Big and Tasty.
Yeah.
It came out in 1997, but it was discontinued in 2011 because of poor sales, but I loved it.
Well, I would tell you.
What sauce they had on there, but it was great.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing about the Big and Tasty, honestly, if I remember this right, it's been a minute, more than a minute, as we say in the South, right, is it was a lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise burger.
But did it not have a special sauce on it, or was I just
I think you're imagining. Maybe I'm. We may have to Google that later, Keith, because you would think the lifelong McDonald's guy would be able to remember every ingredient.
Yeah.
But my recollection, and I hear about this all the time with what was the McDLT. Yeah. So that's always floating around on social media that we should bring back the Big and Tasty, or we should bring back the McDLT. I always tell people, I'm like, honestly, that's a quarter pounder with cheese with mayonnaise, lettuce, and tomato.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, we serve that. It's just a different name. It's called a QPC Deluxe.
Okay.
So it's on the menu right now.
It's on the menu now.
But what happens with our brand, of course, and I love the fact that you either remember or you've looked up some things, is that we change names on things and we brand things, right? Branding is so important. Yeah. And so it's what we serve today, a QPC. We have a QPC, obviously. We have the double QPC. We have a bacon QPC, and then we have a QPC Deluxe. There's mayonnaise, lettuce, and tomato. Yeah. And so it's essentially the same thing.
And Big and Tasty, I think about like the name. Maybe it could have been named something a little bit better than Big and Tasty.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway.
Sometimes things have a shelf life.
And
so, but it does go back to, if something doesn't have throughput, right, then, eventually that becomes something that we'll remove in order to add something else. Yeah. And sometimes it might be just a tweak on it and a change of the branding of it. So.
You talk about you being from Rome. I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I
have
many birthday parties in this McDonald's right here.
Remember back here was there was a party room and it had absolutely.
There you go. Oh yeah. And I was going to try to bring a photo of me as a child on that. I think I have many of them. Yeah. I'll share them with you. I'll take a picture and shoot it to you.
It's so funny. I occasionally will share. I mean, this restaurant has so much history. This is national store number that we're sitting in 579. Really? And the way that McDonald's does it is it's in order. So there was a national store number 1 and 2, et cetera, and we're up into the 40,000-ish now.
I've actually got that
but this was this restaurant, and the locals know, and I'll occasionally share the picture of opening day, was in that middle. The reason the parking lot is so, offset, if you will, is the original red and white tile building was right in that middle parking lot.
Okay, I don't think I knew that.
It was in that middle parking lot, and then it got rebuilt to be what we call internally the double Mansford style with the roof beams, right? Yeah. And it was there, and then when I was on the corporate side, I actually oversaw the building of this one. Locals will know this, and especially my generation, when we traveled back and forth from East Rome McDonald's to West Rome on a Friday night or whatever. This was the lower gravel parking lot of the original building. Yeah. And so we took and built this restaurant in 1987, I believe it was, in the lower parking lot, and then the next day bulldozed the double Mansford with roof beams.
3 years old when that took place.
Yep. And so a lot of history here. Proud to own the restaurant that's one of the original ones way back in the day.
We discussed earlier, you took over this one in 2018.
July of 2018, and we basically within a year gutted
Looks
it.
nice. Yeah, I remember.
Gutted the dining room and made it the beautiful, and gutted the kitchen, new equipment.
It's nice.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I remember having a huge tent, like a circus tent, in the middle parking lot because we did it in phases, and we were able for most of that time to be able to still serve customers, even though there was no dining room or maybe limited drive-through.
Corporate, I don't even want to use this word, force franchise owners to do a remodel at some point, or does corporate pitch in?
Yeah,
is that all out of your pocket? How does that work?
Yeah, most of it. There is partnership. Depends on the project. There is partnership. McDonald's Corporation is great.
Because I figure they want to keep all their locations
there's guidelines.
Uniformity.
Absolutely. There's restaurant standards.
Yes.
And so the corporation, for the importance of consistency. There's the standardization of the products. There's standardization with regard to the technology, the facilities. There's certain standards you have to meet, and there's certain timelines that you are asked to or encouraged to remodel, whatever. But I tend to, because I'm so just passionate and intense about everything, I tend to go above and beyond. For example, this one is, I think it's 90% of my locations are localized with this is. The photography is all, that's downtown Rome. All these, this one's themed Rome. Martha Berry Highway is themed Berry College.
Super nice. You have the string lights or the lights in the trees. You don't see that at every location.
The white lights on the rooftop.
And who does your a local landscape company? Chip.
Chip Hood. For Evergreen.
Great job.
Chip's amazing. He's become a good friend and does a good job with all my locations in Northwest Georgia,
so
not just here.
With the ambiance.
He's the one that also did that
softscapes and stuff like that.
As far as in the tree and stuff.
It looks so pretty, and I always thought that makes your location stand apart.
It's important to look at. I mean, as we sit here, you got the TVs. All my locations have the TVs. We have the soft music. I think we had them turn it down a little for us to talk, but it's how you show up. Everything's about how you show up for your people, your customers, your community.
I love that because I see some franchises like I'll just be traveling and we'll stop in somewhere and the establishment just doesn't look like it's been kept up really well. Or even the sign out by the road is just, you can tell it's just aged and it's been there forever. And I'm like, at what level was this missed? Why ain't somebody taking some initiative here and making this look nicer? Like who drops the ball? And I'm, it's like, it makes you wonder. Like, and I think McDonald's does a good job of holding some standards in some areas,
Yeah, we do. I mean, you don't get to be the number one food service brand in the world.
As a matter of fact, I want to talk about those numbers. So 42,000, right at 42,000 locations. That's amazing.
The goal is to get to 50,000 fairly soon.
I thought y'all had the record, but did you know there's a Japanese?
Was it Chinese?
Ice cream and teas have 46,000 locations. I'm like,
that was all over social. I know, right?
Like, what in the world?
I didn't hear about them either until maybe 6 months or 9 months ago.
That's got to be like a little small footprint. They're popping them things up like in shopping malls and everything. It's got to be.
I don't know. But I mean, in terms of sales, I mean, honestly, Subway, has a lot of locations as well, right? But when you talk about volume, nobody comes close.
So now, the world's largest restaurant chain in revenue. So y'all do lead in revenue and second largest in physical locations.
To that one Asian location.
Right, and then the world's second largest employer with over 1.7 million employees. So right behind Walmart at 2.
Isn't that wild? Think about that.
That's crazy.
I mean, Walmart, the size footprint that they have. We touch a lot of lives. And one of the fallacies too, I mean, we talked about food a little bit earlier, but one of the, as you mentioned, people, I'm really, I've mentioned it a couple of times here, I'm really proud of the opportunities for growth and development that I give to my people, but even beyond, because I want them to have what I've had, right? To be able to take care of their families and just have a great life. I love watching them do life. But beyond the opportunities, I'm really passionate about providing great pay and great benefits. And I think one of the fallacies or the lies that are out there, the falsehoods, is that it's a dead-end job. And it's just, I'm an example, it's not a dead-end job, but not just me. My director of operations, Jess, started as a crew person. She now oversees, runs this whole thing and makes bank, and I'm proud of her for that.
Is that the girl, which girl did you say had been here since she was 16?
Well, there's several of them back there, but Jill is the area supervisor for this area. I think you met her. Yeah. Tisha is the general manager, and then Irma is one of our shift manager, department manager folks, and she's been here since 16. But so has Jill, and so is my director of operations, so is my organizational trainer, Tiffany, area supervisors. Yeah. Not only Jill, but Amber and Summer as well. They all started at 16. And here's the thing, whether it's that level, who are all driving company cars and have amazing benefits and pay. Yeah. But what's important, back to it's not a dead-end job, not just because you have an opportunity to grow, but we pay, like our average crew working, the grill, the drive-through, all the people you saw back there, our average pay is $15 an hour. Okay. We have paid time off, we have insurance, we have free telehealth, we have free food, we have 401k with dollar for dollar match. We match up to 50%. We match up to 5%. Yeah. We have just amazing benefits for even our staff. Not just the managers and the leadership.
That's amazing.
So really proud of how we show up and take care of our people.
That's amazing. So that's good. That's good to know, man. And I know I was talking to my father before I came here, and he was talking a little bit about some of his McDonald's experiences. He actually at one time worked for Toyo, and they sent him to Japan for 3 months. And his exact words were, if it wasn't for McDonald's, they would have starved, because they were just looking for something they knew.
Right.
And they just all they could understand was they saw the McDonald's logo. And as a matter of fact, he ate McDonald's every day, sometimes twice a day for 3 months while he was in Japan. And he even has another cool story. One day during his McDonald's visit, he experienced a mini earthquake. So there was an earthquake happening right there in Japan. The light fixture started shaking. And it was
and he was in the McDonald's at the time?
He was freaking out a little bit, but after he got to talking, that was kind of normal around there every now and then.
Yeah, I've
it was like probably a number 4 on the magnitude, or whatever you call it.
Well, that wasn't too bad then. We've had some 4s around our area.
Right. I think one just recently, maybe a year ago, but I thought that was kind of
I don't want to be around a 7 or an 8. I can handle a 4.
No, so I thought that was kind of a neat.
Oh, yeah, it is why I get pictures and messages all the time from friends and family that are overseas.
Yeah.
And I think it is neat because it's that comfort, that kind of feel of home. And so I get pictures. Some of my friends right now are overseas, and they're sending me pictures of McDonald's in France or Spain or Italy or China, and it's fun. I get to live vicariously through them. I'm always busy.
Have you ever went to a McDonald's out of the country?
I have. Cool. I was not a world traveler, and I'm still not, but I've a few times in the last few years had a chance to go to Europe, and it is. Even for me, it's just so cool to see McDonald's in other parts of the world.
That is very cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Yeah, I've not been to a McDonald's outside. Well, I might have went to one in Mexico one time, Cancun. But, But yeah, I think that'd be interesting to go to one somewhere in that crazy,
It is fun. I mean, the Big Mac's the Big Mac, right? And it's the same Big Mac since, when I was a crew kid. So depending on where you're at, you're going to have some other things that are served that are part of the local cuisine. Yeah. You even have that sometimes here in the States. I mean, you've heard of lobster rolls in the Northeast, and there's a Southwest burger down in Texas, and so we serve sausage and gravy biscuit in my McDonald's in the Southeast. You're not going to find that in New York City. We actually did take sweet tea. Used to be just a southeastern thing with McDonald's, but we actually have that throughout the states now.
Really, all of them?
Yeah. Now I will tell you, there are actually 2 recipes. And so the Southern style sweet that we serve here in the Southeast, in all my restaurants and all the other Southeast, it's just slightly sweeter than the standard sweet tea that we serve in New York City or LA.
Yeah. And you see, have y'all ever had grits on your menu?
Yes, we don't currently. I think that's another thing that that social media talk of what COVID killed, right? 24 hours and grits is what. So
24-hour grits.
Grits is no longer. I'd like to have grits back, honestly. As I laugh about it, I mean, I think it's an amazing product. I'd like to have it, but right now it's not available in the McDonald's system.
People either hate grits or they love it. Then they really freak out when they hear that I put butter and sugar in my grits.
Yeah, I do too.
And they look at me like I'm
salt
like
and pepper too. Salt and pepper. Got to put a little salt and pepper on there. You probably don't do the salt, but I do a little salt and pepper.
That's where we get our every now and then trip to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Go get some grits from there.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Fun stuff.
Any talk of what McDonald's is going to do as a whole with the whole under the new leadership, RFK, removing the seed oil.
Yeah, the MAHA movement, I think it's called, right? Make America healthy again, right?
Yep. A lot of restaurants are switching.
Yeah,
if you look at Steak and Shake, they have a big banner hanging up that says beef tallow fries.
Oh no, yeah. They were one of the. Well, I might have a little inside info on that. Right, I remember when Trump when he won the election. I'm not going to get into the politics, but when he won the election and then he started talking about he was going to name Kennedy, I was messaging Chef Chad, and I'm like, okay, so what are we looking at here with regard to beef? So anyway, we don't do anything knee-jerk reaction. I mean, obviously, the size of our brand, I talked earlier about, everything is tested out, right? As you likely know, our products were cooked in beef tallow back in the day. Actually, our French fries, our McNuggets, et cetera, were beef tallow. And so we are investigating what that might look like and whether, and you probably have really researched this knowing you, but there are two sides to that. Obviously, we know which side Kennedy's on and got to respect what he's doing with food dyes and with so many things, right? But, there was a whole call to action to get away back, if you go back 20 years ago, to get away from beef tallow and to go to vegetable oil, which most people, use vegetable oil at home. So for me, if you really dig into it, and I'm not suggesting it's not the right thing to do, I'm actually a fan of going back to beef tallow, to my personal opinion, and my corporate partners know that. But everything goes back to balance, right? It goes, and I've done a lot of research on it, just personally, beyond talking to Chef Chad about it.
I agree.
And it really just goes back to balance.
It does. It does.
It's not going to make or break your life to eat French fries from beef tallow, just like it's not going to make or break your life to eat French fries from vegetable. It's just not. It's about a balanced diet.
You're exactly right.
But we are looking into it. The good news is we did a lot. I mean, our ingredient label's been amazing since. I mean, our beef was 100% beef in 1955, and it still is. And no shrinkflation. We haven't shrunk anything. We haven't done any shrinkflation, even though that's all over social media too. So our core menu is the same.
Right.
And we even still did a lot to remove preservatives. So I call it cleaning up our label.
Right.
I mentioned earlier, 99% of our core menu is preservative free. So, if you go back 20 years ago, that wasn't the case because people didn't talk about that. That wasn't a thing. And so we've done a lot. We just don't advertise it, and we don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
But we literally, you can trust the food from McDonald's. I would say arguably better than any other place you go to.
Actually,
been to all the suppliers.
In this podcast description, I'll throw in a few pictures of stuff you've shared on social media of the walk-in freezer and stuff. Yeah. It's pretty awesome that you're not scared to show that stuff.
Oh no!
Ingredient labels.
Real butter that we use on that Egg McMuffin, on my crispy chicken biscuit that I had right before we started. Real buttermilk. We do scratch biscuits, as you know, and folks that follow me on social media know. So real flour, real buttermilk. I mean, all of our ingredients are real. Our chicken is all white meat chicken. It's.
I love it.
Our coffee beans are Arabica coffee beans. They're the best. Croc was passionate about that from the beginning. So, our food, filet of fish, wild caught Alaskan pollock.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's.
And people say it's small. It's the exact same size as it was in 1977 when I started McDonald's.
Yes.
it's funny to hear people go, well, it's got to have a slice of cheese on it. I'm like, when I was a crew person in 1977, it had to have a slice of cheese on it. That's the recipe that we've always had.
Did you guys have to adjust a little bit with the crazy egg prices?
No, we
y'all stayed
didn't.
the same?
We actually have amazing, I mentioned suppliers.
Yeah.
Our suppliers are amazing.
Okay.
And so we had agreements with them, and so we were protected from that.
Okay.
And we were able to keep our price. I didn't adjust my price. Matter of fact, I'm proud of. I've not touched my prices almost at all in probably almost a year now. I mean, slight tweaks here or there, but that thing didn't touch us at all.
That's good. I was just curious because it did get a little crazy there for a little while.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it was all over the news that one of our competitors in the food business had to go up. Some of the others, some of our competitors actually couldn't serve eggs for a while. They didn't. Their supply chain wasn't as strong as ours.
They were putting limitations on how many eggs you could buy.
At the grocery store, it was crazy.
Or whatever else. And I thought that was pretty wild. I think we're about over that, hopefully.
I think we are, not only the supply side of it, but I think I heard that prices are actually at or below where they were before, not just overall, but eggs specifically, I think. So I'm pretty optimistic, not to again get into, but I'm optimistic. I'm a little bullish on the economy. I think we might be turning, and I'm certainly hopeful for everybody, because it's been tough on everybody.
Technology, and I love the kiosk that you have in the I use that a lot, but I think McDonald's will always have real faces at the counter, right?
Oh yeah, well, I'm going to always have, that's for sure. Right. I will tell you, you've been overseas. You were talking about it a little while ago when I went to Europe. Again, not a world traveler, but the last few years have been over a few times. They do have people there to take your order if you want, for example, in Europe, but most people just gravitate to the kiosk where they use their, I don't know where my phone went, here it is, they use the app, right? Yep. And so I think over time, technology is going to just evolve, right? People are going to be more comfortable using their phone, whether it's to order their groceries or order something from Amazon or order McDonald's or whatever. But here's what I will tell you is I will always have people at the front counter to take. A lot of my competitors, even here in town, don't. They don't. They just got the kiosk. I won't do that. Matter of fact, when I redid this, gutted it, there was some talk from you were asking about partnership from McDonald's. There was some talk about reducing the number of registers on the front counter. I said, not only that, I'm actually increasing it. So I have 3. They wanted me to have not more than 2. Love my partners, in case anybody from there. But I said, nope, we're opening it with 3.
That's awesome.
And one of my restaurants in Tennessee gutted it entirely. Same thing, opened it with 3. Yeah. We've grown our business, so we need more staff, and we're going to always be there to take the customer's order.
I love seeing them.
But a growing number, 30% of our business now is digital, whether it's the app,
ordering through
which we love. The app, you get convenient. Deals and discounts and all kinds of things beyond what we have at the restaurant. A lot of deals there. But the kiosk is part of that 30%. Delivery is also part of that. So 30% of our business is actually digital now.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, I mean, the app's so easy to use. I was messing around with it before yesterday. Like you said, over time, it's just constantly improving. Yeah, I ordered the Keith Ozment menu hack special double egg McMuffin entirely on the app. So the customizability, if that's a word, is pretty good. Yeah, I actually ordered. I put it on social media. I ordered a quadruple QPC. We have a double QPC on the menu board, right? But I ordered a quadruple QPC on the app a few weeks ago in one of my Tennessee McDonald's, and I ordered a double QPC on the app and added 2 more patties of meat and a couple more. I didn't even know I could do that, but I was playing and I did a table service and they brought out the quadruple QPC. And I was like, "This is pretty." I'm like you. I do take a picture of it.
So I took
Oh my gosh! Out of 36,000 photos on my phone, probably 30,000 are food pictures. Yeah, and a lot of them is Egg McMuffins.
I love it.
Yeah, but that one that I sent you, that was beautiful. The light was coming in just right.
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
was
the
great.
One that,
I used it.
Casey used in the article on the website.
Yeah,
Georgia.
Casey Bryant. Yeah.
That was great. Well,
all on Georgia.
I'll kind of end things with some leadership stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think makes or breaks an establishment? As far as how well they do and the culture and stuff like that. Do you think it really comes down to the owner and the leader?
It does.
It does. Mere reflection of that person.
So I'll start with Jess and I, my director of operations, are always talking about leadership as influence.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less. It's the ability to get people to run through walls for you. So whether you're, owning a Mcdonald's or the Spartan smoothie and nutrition guy, or the director, all my leadership team. Leadership is influence, and one of the things that make I try to role model it, but I'm blessed with a lot of great leaders, and our people will run through walls for Jess and her area supervisors and for all of our general managers. And so that's one is, sports team, there's so many parallels. I mean, you and I both do this on social media too. I love the parallels between sports and business. But then, beyond that, there's a couple other things. It's how you take care of your people, right? It's how you show up for your people. It's so important to be there for them. And so we're constantly out in the restaurants. I talked about at the beginning of this, the fact that there were some pretty significant equipment and facility issues this morning. And so between myself, my leadership team, my head of facilities guys, we're always there for our people. And so, and so I think it's showing up for your people.
And they see that.
People
really
don't
notice that.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and are you there for them both from a business standpoint and then personally. When they have something going on in their life, are you there for them? So because it really doesn't, and I'm going to get into kind of the other thing that I think's underneath it in terms of vision and how you bring that to life. But none of that matters if your people aren't if they don't care about you and know that you care about them. And if they don't feel like, they're ready to go to battle for you every day, right? And so for us, it's every moment of truth is when the customer on their way to work or school or wherever, the ball game, and they pull up. It's a moment of truth.
Moment of truth.
It's are we going to be that commercial?
Yes.
With the service and with the food quality, et cetera. So it's showing up for your people and so on. Now, the other thing that's underneath it is that structure. And so it's the vision. And then it's bringing that vision to life. So our vision for our organization, we kind of headline it as making a difference. Right from the very beginning when I decided to become a franchisee, it was, I'm going to make a difference in the lives of my people.
Yes.
Our customers, the community, which we do a lot to support, as you know, our schools, every community I'm in, we support our school. So our people, our customers, our community, and then the brand. I do a lot to give back to the brand and some of the different teams and some of the things that I do to try to lead the way. So that's our vision. And so you got to bring to life those components. And then also what's the KPI? So how are you going to measure those? And then how are you going to provide the resources for your people? Because having a vision and having the components of the vision and all that, if you don't give them the resources and support, well, they're just, there's going to be frustration. So we provide the resources, and then it's really, to me, from there, it's constant I call it recognition on steroids, right? So just constantly going, hey, that's awesome, that's perfect, that's best looking Egg McMuffin or scratch biscuit ever, and so constantly giving feedback and recognition, and then and so that's measurement. So is part of that in terms of the KPIs and the things. And then it's just tweak and course correct and repeat, right?
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
So for me, but it boils down to culture and how you show up for your people.
Yeah, I like that. It's because I've worked for people in the past that was just the only time you saw them was when you were getting your wrist slapped.
Yeah.
And you never really learned anything in the process. You just knew you were doing something wrong, but you never had anybody to show you the correct way to do it or tell you why. So I think that's important.
Talk about a bad culture, right?
Yes, bad culture, and they wonder why their turnover is so high.
And
they constantly cry because they can't keep good help. And I'm like, okay, you might want to look in the mirror, And so I'm not the perfect boss, but I do try to take components of everything you just said, and take it seriously, and I want to continue to level up and refine those areas. I hope I can continue learning little nuggets from you, in
Well,
those areas as
likewise
far
from
as,
you, because you inspire me just in watching how you do life.
Yeah.
I get inspiration as well from how my people do life.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer you're constantly learning.
Yeah.
And so I learn from you and so many other business leaders in Rome and other communities where I'm blessed to do business. So
I truly appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know we've talked about it for a while, and we're so busy, and I know it takes time to make this stuff happen. So I appreciate
this has been awesome.
Yeah, this has been
it
great.
has been so much fun. Honestly, just that conversation has been fun.
It's been really good, and I'm looking forward to staying in touch. And like I said, I want to drop plenty of resources below and a little bit more information about what Jim does in the community and some cool pictures.
Yeah, I love it.
Behind the scenes, and like always, I appreciate you guys dropping in, and feel free to screenshot this episode, tag us in your stories if you watch it. I don't make any money from the podcast, so we just rely on organic growth. So we appreciate you tuning in always, and we'll catch you next time.